Hi, welcome to my video on strengths and weaknesses in through hiking. So today I'm going to be talking about how you can prepare for your through hike by examining your strengths and weaknesses. I believe that everybody has unique strengths that can help them on the trail, and I think we all have a few weaknesses that might prevent us from being successful. So part of my preparation has really been to self-analyze. So if people get off trail for kind of the same reasons, it seems like it kind of goes into these categories of not enough time or money, injury, illness, mental exhaustion, and kind of not meeting their expectations. And with those things in mind, I sat down with this list and said, what's going to help me finish and what are the things that I need to be aware of? So to start, here are my personal weaknesses. 1, I am extremely risk averse. The fact that I have told people that I'm doing this, I'm taking leave from work, and I have a plan to get to Georgia and start is a huge win for me. So even though it's a weakness, I'm really happy to kind of knock that one off and say I kind of passed my first hurdle. Number 2, I'm 43 years old, or at least I will be when I start the hike, and I don't recover as well as I used to. So in planning and preparing for my hike, I've been doing things like going to the chiropractor, which someone in a Facebook group for the trail recommended. I found it extremely beneficial, and I'm incorporating a lot more yoga. I'm not really like a yoga person. So working on stretching and balance I think will be really helpful. I'm learning some new stretches that I like to do now post-hike. Number 3, I have celiac, and if you don't know what that is, it is an autoimmune disorder where my body attacks itself when I ingest gluten. So resupply is definitely more challenging, and the chances of me going 6 months eating out of grocery stores every day and processed food that I have to bring on the trail and not getting glutens are slim to none, and it will be more zeros. I will definitely feel sick, and then there's a long-term effect of just zapping my energy. So that is definitely something I've put a lot of effort into planning around, and I'll talk a little bit about my resupply strategy in an upcoming video. Number 4, I have minimal backpacking experience. So I did the W circuit in Patagonia, where you can have the option to hike from hostel to hostel and have wine every night. Definitely up my alley. I really enjoyed that hike. And then we've done Havasu Falls, but you can have a horse tick in your tent and your sleeping bag and all of that. So I've done a lot of hiking, I've done some car camping, but backpacking is definitely new for me. So I have a lot to learn, and I'm hoping the trail will teach me very quickly. And my final weakness is that I am 4 feet 10 inches tall. And I have a short stride. I joke that I'm taking twice as many steps as everybody else to get to Maine, so I therefore should count as double the miles. But one of the things that's been really hard is finding gear. And if you're supposed to say 20% of your body weight, you take out the food, you take out the water, you're now in ultralight territory. But as I mentioned, I don't have really great backpacking skills, so ultralight really does require for you to have everything dialed in and really understand what you can and cannot tolerate in the backcountry. So I'm gonna have a heavier pack than I wanted, but I don't feel like I can cut anything out at this point. So we'll be doing some gear videos closer to the time that I leave, but a lot of those will be really focused on, if you're a petite woman, you have a short torso, you know how hard it is to find a pack and other kind of pieces of gear. I'm joking, I'm in my spare bedroom right now. I also call it the gear closet, or where backpacks go to die, because over in that corner there's currently 5 backpacks that I have to return. And that's not including the ones that have already gone back and the ones that aren't here yet. And I'm definitely nervous about that. It's been a real challenge.
Black wine. lack of wine unless you bring wine, which I recommend.
Desire for the finer things in life.
How are you going to get the Botox in the next 6 months?
That the whole hygiene thing is gonna maybe be a little challenging.
Yeah, your hair, like, you're not gonna be happy with the way it looks. And it's gonna be greasy and sweaty and stinky. Yeah.
Snakes.
Where you are cooking all of your special foods and all your delicious concoctions, and you won't be able to eat anything like that?
I think just the comforts you're used to that are going to be taken away during those months.
Yeah. Short legs.
Your height, I guess?
Alright, so no one is all good or all bad, and when I started this process, I looked at my weaknesses, and that seemed to be all I could think about. But as I was educating myself on the trail and trying to learn more and watching YouTube videos and listening to podcasts and just getting out and doing shakedown hikes, so practicing with gear, things like that, I really realized that I actually had some strengths that were going to help me in this hike. I usually feel like all my strengths are work-oriented or career-oriented, but I actually have some things that are going to help me hopefully complete the trail. So let's talk a little bit about those. So first, I think that most people who know me would say I'm mentally tough and I have a lot of grit. So I think that's going to go a long ways towards getting me through the days when I'm just struggling to kind of pick up new skills, my body hurts, I'm not recovering well, to really kind of power through and stick with it. And I think the trail is still, despite that, going to be really, really mentally exhausting, but I'm looking forward to kind of flexing that muscle. I feel like most things that come my way these days I can handle, and so I'm looking forward to kind of getting back into working out that mental muscle, so I'm pretty stoked for that. Number 2, money and time. So if I were completing this hike in my 20s, my number one weakness would have been money. And I think running out of money, I would have been, first of all, I would have been too risk-averse to even try it and too scared. But you know, the benefit of doing a hike when you're older, whether it's, you know, when you retire or mid-career, is you've had an opportunity to save up more money. And that definitely, you can't buy your way to Maine, makes it easier though, for sure. And I think recognizing that that's a stressor I don't have is a good thing. It kind of makes you feel like things are a little bit more balanced, and I'm really lucky that I don't have a hard date at work I have to be back by. So I get to enjoy the trail. I can take my time, smell the roses, if you will, and if I need to take an extra 0 to rest or something like that, it's not going to ruin my vacation. I called it a vacation. My hard work and trip I'm taking to Maine. Don't tell my husband I called it a vacation. Shit. Next is I have a really good balance of planning and going with the flow. So anyone who knows me knows that I'm kind of a type A planner, but because I have this job where you plan for the day and then everything happens and it's nothing you ever expect and you have to kind of deal with it and roll with the punches, I feel like that is very much through hiking. You plan where you think you're going to get water, you plan where you think you're going to spend the night that night, and then the day happens and those things do or don't happen according to that plan, and you have to make adjustments. And I think that's something that I'm used to and won't stress me out, and I've kind of even done that with, I am sending myself resupply boxes, and I have set up my plan in a way that really allows me to adjust pretty quickly. And then finally, my greatest strength is my support system at home. I have an awesome partner in life, Colin, who is really supportive, is willing to help me, but at the end of the day, it's my hike and my responsibility to, you know, prepare and get things done, and he's just here to cheer me on. And I love that I don't have someone at home who's like, when are you going to be home? Like, no nagging me. We've really worked through, you know, how often I'm going to check in. That gives me a lot of comfort knowing that I have someone who really wants to see me succeed and isn't going to pressure me to hurry up or come home early, things like that. And I also have awesome friends who have been incredibly supportive. I see things on some of the Facebook groups and my heart goes out to the people who say, well, I told my family and I got this reaction, or I told my friends and they said this, and they're not supportive, and it hurts my heart for them, and I'm just really grateful. The one thing that's undetermined, strength or weakness, is my focus versus my forgetfulness. I am really focused at work. I am super forgetful at home. So when hiking is my quote-unquote day-to-day job, will I be really focused, or am I going to be that person who leaves my hiking poles back at camp every morning?
You're one of the most highly confident humans, so I think that's going to be a big, big strength.
Stubbornness. And I think it's just because, you know, you set your mind to it, you're gonna do it, and nobody can tell you you're not gonna do it, and that's gonna keep you going.
Determination, I'd say. Determinate, like you don't quit, and you just like that's yeah.
Your perseverance, your personality.
You're small but mighty.
Your positive attitude.
Probably your tenacity.
Your perseverance.
I would say your tenacity.
You're destined to do this. So
Your stubbornness.
Your greatest strength will be just how passionate you are to get through this whole process.
Your perseverance, probably.
Come on, you're headstrong. You go-getter.
So I hope you enjoyed this video, learned something about me, gave some thought about your own hike or your potential hike, and how you view strengths and weaknesses. I think that everybody has a unique situation. There's no one way to get there. I mean, you could go NOBO or SOBO, just like that. There's two ways, flip-flop, sorry, 3 ways to go just direction-wise. And so I think that you should really look internally about what are the things that you're just so good at that might really lend themselves to a successful thru hike, and then what are your weaknesses that you kind of need to plan for and have contingency plans for. And I think it was a really worthwhile exercise, and I surprised myself by having more strengths than I thought, and I think you will too. So like this video, subscribe, and then tell me in the comments what your greatest strength is. Look forward to reading them, and have a wonderful day.